So it's the first day of the NCAA tournament, which is always sort of like its own holiday. Thursday and Friday are both exciting that you've got staggered start times throughout the day, and games start at noon Eastern and they go all day, all night. There's a break for the CBS Evening News, but outside of that, it's, all basketball all the time. And there are 1 versus 16 and bad matchups, and some games are really exciting and really close, and some games are absolute blowouts from the get-go. And throughout the entire day, it's still a really fun, interesting time to watch college basketball. And for the most part, I heard like legitimate sports talk radio hosts today that didn't know how to pronounce Duquesne. So that's how unfamiliar some people are with some of the teams playing in March Madness, and yet we're still enthralled by the action. But you don't know a damn thing about Duquesne or BYU or Mississippi State or anybody else for that matter. You don't know a whole lot about them, and yet you cannot help yourself but watch the action. And I can't help myself but wonder, will we have that same thought process? Will we have the same interest in an expanded college football playoff come 2024 and when it grows even bigger in 2026? Will we have the same feelings for the precursor games? I don't even for the first round games, because some of them are going to happen on Friday nights. There's going to be a quadruple header on Saturdays. There's going to be staggered start times. It's going to be really somewhat similar to the first day or two, maybe more towards the first 4 in Dayton, where you get 2 games at this time, 2 games a night on Tuesday and Wednesday. But I wonder what the excitement, the thought process will be for the first couple of rounds of the college football playoff. Will we not care until the semifinals? Is it a matchup by matchup basis? Are there just some games that are going to be way more exciting and interesting than other games? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. But I know that for the most part, the average sports fan is probably a little bit more well-versed in the teams who are going to be competing in the college football playoff rather than teams kind of, 20 through 68 in the NCAA or in the March Madness tournament. And maybe that's part of the fun, is having no idea, no preconceived notions on who the hell's going to beat who, or filling out your bracket is just part of the reason you're paying attention. I don't know. But I do know that I think the average fan has a better handle on who the top 12 teams in the country are, whether they match up well or not with so-and-so in college football. And just the potential of not having that upset, of not having that school that you really don't know where it is. You couldn't name the state that school is in or what its mascot / colors were until it popped up on Selection Sunday, taking down a giant. Because that's not going to happen. It's not going to be a possibility in a college football playoff. One, there just aren't a bunch of, really kind of small universities playing big level FBS football, right? Like Tulsa is the smallest college in FBS, and they've got like 3,800 students or something like that. It might be even more than that. The University of Tulsa, that knows is great. They have 3,700 students, and they're the smallest university. And there are, and that's a pretty small college, but yet it's still an FBS school. But for the most part, you have 134 FBS schools rather than 364 Division I basketball schools. So you kind of know everything about everybody in FBS football, and you also have a preconceived notion of, okay, this school from Conference USA is going to go up against this school from the SEC. And I know how this is going to go. And so I wonder what that preconceived notion, but also not having that opportunity for this school with uniforms that they got in 2010. And when they do, talk about them during the broadcast that, they used to have a weight room, but it got flooded in the great flood of 2019 and they haven't rebuilt it yet. And they actually rode in a horse and buggy on the way to the game. You don't get that in FBS football. And I think that's part of the allure, obviously, of March Madness. But I also wonder if it can be part of the fun of college football playoff. I don't think so. I think more often than not, I would guess, that the team representing the group of five will be from the American Athletic Conference. Does Temple or Tulane or Memphis or whatever the case may be, do they have a real great shot year after year after year to drop the number 5 rated team in America? Probably not. Probably not. But every once in a while, it is going to happen. But is it going to happen at a time, a place that makes you put your work aside on some Friday or Saturday in December and really take a look at what makes the sport great? I think they're kind of two competing ideologies there of you want to see, like it feels like in college football, you want to see best on best. You want to see the titans of the sport, the best wide receivers go against the best defensive backs. And you want to see the best running backs go against the best linebackers and the best offensive lines go against the best defensive line, the best offensive coordinator versus the best defensive coordinator. You want to see that. And in basketball, it's just like, I want chaos. I want to light it on fire. I want a 9 seed to play an 11 seed in the national championship game. It was last year, people were stoked. There's a San Diego State versus Florida Atlantic Final Four matchup, right? Or in the past, you get like a Butler versus VCU or George Mason makes the Final Four. And you're like, this is awesome. This is great. This is everything that I love about sports. You can tell your kids that no matter how big or small you are, if you put your mind to it, if you play the game the right way, etc., you can still have success. And then football is like, to hell with that. If you're not inherently great at this, get the hell out of my playoff. Get the hell off my TV screen. And so I just wonder if the college football playoff maybe is chasing that March Madness feel a little bit where people are, schedule their vasectomies or take some personal time off on a Thursday and Friday to just plop their ass down on the couch and watch basketball all day, every day. I don't know that you're going to get that with the college football playoff. And I don't know if there's a way to manufacture that because of that kind of shift in mindset. In March Madness, half the fun is listening to people in the office or at the water cooler bitch because I had Arizona and they lost in the first round. Oh my God. Where in the college football playoff, I don't even know if people are going to fill out brackets. I don't know that anybody's going to sit down and do that. And when they do, there's not going to be a whole lot of like, no, I had LSU and they lost to Tulane, damn it. Like, I just don't, I don't know that I foresee that happening because it just doesn't have the sheer scale and volume that the NCAA tournament has in March. And it's just two different things that people want. People want to see in football the best versus the best. I don't know that Cinderella stories are necessarily always as welcomed in college football, in a sport that has been flat out defined by, if you are not a member of one of these 5 conferences for going on, 40 years now, then you don't matter. Meanwhile, you could be in basketball, you can come out of the A-10, the West Coast Conference, whatever the case may be, and be, a major factor and a major player. And we want to see Fairleigh Dickinson beat Purdue. We want to see UMBC take down Virginia. It's chaos and anarchy, and you love it. And if you got that in college football, you'd be questioning just what in the world is going on. So I think there's just two different dynamics and two different aspects of those tournaments, playoffs, whatever you want to call them, that I just don't know that we'll ever see in the college football playoff. And that's okay. Not everything has to be the NCAA tournament. And that's what makes the NCAA tournament special. And if I wanted to sit down and railroad against Tom Izzo for a couple of minutes, about how, well, we got to get these damn mid-majors out of the tournament. So 17 and 15 Florida State can be. I could do that. I'm not gonna, but I could. That'll do it for today's episode of the Daily Huddle. Appreciate you making us a part of your day, however it is, wherever it is you're doing so. If you are watching on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you get all the great college football content that we are pumping out here on Saturday Glory. If you are listening on the podcast feed, drop a 5-star review. It gets us in front of more college football fans, and that's always a great thing. I'll see you on Sunday here on the Daily Huddle with Saturday Glory.